Hatshepsut, the woman who became Pharaoh. The Nile River flowed like a golden ribbon through the heart of Egypt, its waters carrying secrets of ancient gods and mighty rulers. In the grand palaces of Thebes, where the shadows of the great pharaohs stretched long, a revolution was about to begin, not with war, not with swords, but with something far more powerful, a woman who dared to seize the throne. Her name was Hatshepsut, and she was destined to change history. Born into royalty, Hatshepsut was the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I, a ruler who expanded Egypt's empire through war and conquest. As a child, she walked through the vast temples of Karnak, listening to the priests chant hymns to the gods. She watched her father return from battle, draped in golden armor, his chariot wheels stained with the dust of conquest. But while other girls were taught to weave and sing, Hatshepsut learned the art of ruling. She studied maps of distant lands, watched the royal scribes draft treaties, and listened to generals speak of war. When her father died, the throne passed not to her, but to her half-brother, Thutmose II. To secure her place, she was married to him, an arranged union meant to keep power within the royal family. She became Great Royal Wife, the highest title a queen could hold. But Hatshepsut was no ordinary queen. She ruled alongside her husband with sharp intelligence and unwavering strength, advising him in secret, guiding his decisions in the shadows. She was the true power behind the throne. Then, fate intervened. Thutmose II, always weak and sickly, died suddenly. His son, Thutmose III, was only a child. The kingdom teetered on the edge of uncertainty. The great generals and priests gathered, their whispers filling the halls of the palace. A child king could not rule alone. Egypt needed a strong hand. And so, Hatshepsut stepped forward. At first, she ruled as regent, standing in the boy king's place. But as the years passed, her power grew. She wore the double crown of Egypt, issued decrees, and commanded the army. The people looked to her, not to the child. She was Pharaoh in all but name. Then came the moment that shook the empire. In a bold and unprecedented act, Hatshepsut declared herself Pharaoh. She donned the royal kilt, the sacred crown, and even the false beard worn by the kings of old. In the great temples, her statues were carved not as a woman, but as a man, a god king, chosen by the divine. She erased the word queen from the records and replaced it with Pharaoh. The court was stunned. The priests murmured, the nobles whispered. Never before had a woman ruled Egypt as Pharaoh. Never before had the gods placed the two lands in the hands of a queen. But Hatshepsut was unstoppable. Unlike the warrior kings before her, she did not seek conquest through war. Instead, she conquered through trade, diplomacy, and the splendor of her monuments. She revived the lost trade routes of the ancient world, sending massive expeditions across the Red Sea to the fabled Land of Punt, a kingdom shrouded in mystery. Her fleet, the largest Egypt had ever seen, sailed across uncharted waters, bringing back gold, ivory, exotic animals, myrrh trees, and incense that would burn in the temples of Amun. Her monuments rose higher than any before her. She commissioned the great obelisks of Karnak, towering stone pillars carved from a single block of granite, shining in the desert sun. And her most breathtaking achievement, the mortuary temple of Hatshepsut at Deir el-Bahari, stood like a temple of the gods, carved into the cliffs, its colonnades reaching toward the sky. Her rule brought peace, wealth, and stability. But peace could not last forever. In the shadows, her enemies gathered. The priests of Amun, once loyal, began to whisper against her. The generals of the army, eager for conquest, resented her peaceful rule. And most dangerous of all, Thutmose III, now a man grown, watched and waited. For 20 years Hatshepsut ruled unopposed. But then, she vanished. No records tell how she died. Some believe she succumbed to illness, her body growing weak with time. Others whisper that she was betrayed, assassinated by those who sought to erase her reign. But her true erasure began after her death. Thutmose III, now Pharaoh, launched a campaign to destroy her legacy. Her statues were torn down, her name chiseled out of history, her images defaced from the temple walls. It was as if she had never ruled, never existed. But the sands of time do not forget. Centuries later, her temple still stands, her obelisks still pierce the sky, and her name, once erased, has been restored to history. Hatshepsut was more than a queen. She was Pharaoh. A woman who defied gods and men, who carved her name into eternity, and who proved that greatness knows no gender. They tried to erase her, but her legend lives on.